but what's going on, everybody? It is February 28th, 2024. It is 12:58 p.m. It is the professional trader here. I'm here with my brother Kailash. How you doing today, sir?
Hello, doing good. It's an interesting
Can you hear,
day. Yeah.
can you hear me well, or am I kind of low?
No, it's all good. Yeah, I can hear. I can hear.
Okay, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Good.
I got Bitcoin pulled on the screen. We were just talking
Nice.
about it right now. Before, now we could, yeah, I kind of want to just talk about this first a
Yeah, let's
little
see.
bit, just because where it's at the moment, and it's interesting, right? Because just from like what I've been hearing, interest rates and like Bitcoin kind of go hand in hand. So, interest rates haven't even been cut yet, but we see Bitcoin, just kind of flying. What do you think about that?
So it's crazy. My bias was like I wasn't bearish,
Hmm.
like in a positioning way. I wasn't positioning bearish, but like I haven't been buying as aggressively, unfortunately. I
Hmm.
think a lot of people haven't, but it's been today was actually crazy. Today was a really crazy day. It went up
Yeah.
at $9,000.
Nine
That's
thousand.
nice.
Wow. Okay, I did
Yeah.
not even know that. I did not
This
even
is
know
actually
that.
the biggest day I think ever, if it closes as high as it is right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Might be one
And
of it actually.
5 hours to the daily close. So this is like the biggest, like, percentage wise it's moved in a day, basically, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it
Or like
happens really rarely. Yeah.
yeah, man. Okay, so the thing about Bitcoin, and like, I'm not the most knowledgeable on Bitcoin, but what I have seen with Bitcoin, which is different from like market structure and charts, naturally every chart has to eventually come down, but Bitcoin is just like one of those things that it will go on for days, weeks, just printing higher high candles, and it's just like, man, if I would have just I could have picked any day to just buy, and like I could have rode the trend. So it's interesting, right? Like, are we gonna see this thing retrace, or is this thing just gonna keep on printing higher and higher and higher? But
Yeah. And there
I'm
was
a
a brutal, like there was about like 5 or 6 months, 3, 4 months of just like brutal sideways. It wasn't even
Mhm.
doing anything. Every pump just gave it all back. So there's a lot of
and I
skepticism.
and I also remember that day where Bitcoin, where I guess it got approved on on the ETFs,
Yeah.
and it kind of did the opposite. It kind of sold off that day because I remember you telling me how price had kind of priced in already
Oh
that
yeah.
coming. So when it actually happened that day, we actually saw price, not go up. But now, do you think that is what is like giving it its strength behind it, like, those ETFs being approved?
Another thing too is there's a lot of people who have been doubting it. And there's a lot of people because that ETF, everybody knows it's coming up, everybody knows it's
Mhm.
the event, and they kind of got that little bit of confirmation.
Yeah,
Price topped out at 49,000, came
yeah.
all the way down to 38,000.
Hmm.
So they're already pretty like deep in profit. Anybody who didn't close their short, they're getting squeezed out. And I think this is a short squeeze. And how do I say it? Like for me, I'd be a real believer if we get above 69,000, which is like the highest price
69,000.
ever.
Okay,
That
so
was the top in 2022,
yeah, yeah.
2021,
Hmm.
2021.
So
Yeah.
you need to see a higher high basically come in.
Yeah. I
Okay.
still, even though we're right at the like we're right there,
Hmm.
I'm still just waiting.
But
I want to see a
but
break.
but yeah, but I mean, but like it also makes sense, right? Because if this thing does break, who knows where it's going, right? So like that's like
Yes.
this thing could hit 100K, right? Like how everybody's been kind of saying that 100K mark right there. So I most definitely agree with you on that. But if we do start to see like those interest rates like do eventually get cut, do you think Bitcoin would be a good investment?
I really think no matter what happens,
Mhm.
Bitcoin's going to do its own thing. I
Okay.
think personally.
Okay.
Only
Okay.
because do you know how the supply works?
On
Do you know how?
Bitcoin,
Yeah,
not really.
so there's only 21 million Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, there will never ever be any more Bitcoin.
And that's why they
And
do like the having things,
exactly.
right? Okay.
And that's
Okay.
happening. People were saying April because it's not set on a certain date. It depends on how the miners work. So it depends
Mhm.
on the electricity being used. But at this point, the next halving should be around May to July of this year.
Okay.
So yeah,
Interesting.
it's
Interesting.
every 4 years. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's really super. Yeah, man. That's Bitcoin, man. I watch it, but I don't trade it. I've never
very
actually.
volatile. It's been like
Yeah.
so. Today was the only day other than in February 2021. Elon Musk, he announced he bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin, and it went up $10,000 that day. It closed plus $7,000.
Mhm.
This day is beating that day. So that was actually the only day where Bitcoin went up nearly as much as today.
When
But
when
yeah.
did that happen? That was it
I was recently looking up too. It's February 8th,
of this year.
2021.
Oh,
Last year
21.
or
Okay. Okay.
21. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I did
But
not
I
know
was
that.
watching it very closely. Oh man, I saw a 1 minute candle. Bitcoin went down $2,000. I was just like, oh, the volatility was crazy today. And
Crazy.
I was using extremely small size because of
Okay.
that volatility.
Yeah,
But like,
understandable. Yeah.
yeah,
What
oh.
are the spreads like on Bitcoin?
So on the exchanges, the one that you're looking at, the Bybit exchange, it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect. The spread is like to the dollar almost.
Oh
It's like
wow.
$2, $3.
Okay.
Really good.
So
Yeah.
even with all this growth, it's like you can still get in at a good price.
Yes. Oh
Wow.
yeah.
Real nice. That's nice. But yeah, that's Bitcoin. I kind of want to move over to Forex Factory real quick just to kind of talk about the news that came out today and yesterday. Something I've noticed, and I'm not sure like how important this news is like to the DXY, but it is a like a red flag folder. And durable goods came out yesterday, cooler than expected. And today the prelim GDP, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, came out cooler than expected today. I know tomorrow is core PCE and unemployment, so tomorrow kind of might be like the movement, finally we've been looking for. But yesterday and today are one of those times where the fundamentals and like price action don't really go hand in hand, because if you were strictly fundamentals, seeing these numbers be cooler than expected, would have had you thinking, maybe the dollar is falling. And it kind of is at the moment, but we saw those numbers come out yesterday and we actually saw a push in the dollar. We kind of find resistance over here, kind of pushing back a little bit, but what do you think about the DXY today, man?
I'm really thinking keeping in mind the sideways because we're
Mhm.
still inside last week's range.
Yeah, yep.
I'm still expecting like chop. As long
Mhm.
as on the weekly chart we're inside last week's high, last week's low,
Mhm.
it's like no move is gonna have follow through
Yeah,
until we get above last week's high or last week's low.
yeah, I agree.
It's getting
I,
really tight. I can just
yeah,
see tightening. Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely. But one thing I do want to say about the DXY, so I remember, think maybe it was somewhere around here after we made this high, and some news came out. I don't remember the news that exactly came out, but there was a point where anything bearish for the dollar was pushing the dollar down extremely, like big impulse candles to the downside, and then positive news would
Yeah.
come out, and then it would kind of go sideways. Still basically what it's doing now, but it's a little bit more interesting to see that the numbers have been cooler yesterday and today, but price action is still, kind of staying strong, not impulsing super hard like how it was doing here, just off of news, that was cooler than expected. So from a bullish standpoint, it's interesting to see news be cooler than expected, but the dollar still kind of be strong. So I want to see the dollar go high personally, so I feel like it's a good case to see numbers cooler than expected, but for the dollar still to be kind of strong. But I think tomorrow might be, the maybe the deciding factor we're looking for. And I know after tomorrow we have core PCE, which is on. Is today Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, yeah.
So okay, so tomorrow we have core PCE, and then on Friday we have ISM. So maybe tomorrow and Friday, maybe those are the numbers that we need to see some actual movement in the DXY. But it's just interesting to see that the DXY still kind of hold on strong without any fundamental things backing it for the moment. But um, remember I
I
talked
kind of
about
do
USD.
agree with the
Mhm,
bullishness. I'll just say that. I do agree with the
mhm.
bullishness overall.
Yeah, but like you said though, when this needs to see that high get clear from a 4 hour perspective. We kind of want to see this 4 hour resistance get broken, but like you said, that weekly resistance, is most definitely the key to say that the trend is continuing for sure. But, I want to go over some Forex pairs real quick, man, and then if you can after maybe just share your screen and
Sure,
kind
yeah.
of just show me some of the trades you've been taking. I ended up re-entering USD CAD again yesterday, just kind of like what we were saying, right?
Nice.
So I was look I like the dollar from a bullish perspective, and we had news that was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. But I was looking for confirmation from the fundamental side that that the DXY was still strong, but we didn't get that yesterday. And I entered a trade somewhere around here, and I ended up closing it. But when the numbers came out, and the dollar didn't like extremely pull back the other way, it made me it honestly made me more confident, and it made me re-enter on a bigger lot as well. So I ended up re-entering right around there. We see that we've hit that previous resistance that happened on February 13th. I haven't moved my stop loss to break even, and I haven't taken any profit, but want to see if we can, continue to just push higher. But I could also see price coming back and kind of retesting here. But as long as it doesn't close, back below here, I still like the buy. If we bounce back here and then, just start to go sideways, I'll still hold. But, I still like USD CAD, from a long-term perspective, at least, until these levels right here. So I haven't taken any profit. Haven't moved my stop loss to break even, just kind of holding, to see what happens. But if price just starts to impulse like pretty heavy to the downside, then I'll maybe look to revisit that. GBP USD still in, thought we were finally gonna get that movement on it. And we did. And just something to point out here is just how many times GBP USD has failed. That 618 area right here failed at once, failed at twice, three times, four times. Finally broke above, but the economy on the GBP side is still kind of strong. So I feel like that's why that back and forth is just so like prevalent. But I do think that, if we finally get real movement on the dollar, that this will hold. So same thing on GBP USD. I haven't taken any profit. I haven't moved my stop loss to break even just because the market structure hasn't changed. So there's really nowhere for me to move my stop loss just yet. But just have to see what'll happen on this one. But my best trade in a while is Euro AUD. It's cool that we finally got the break of this resistance level right here. Um, even closed below this. I had my first take profit right here, but when I came to the charts, I saw that it closed above higher. So I didn't even close it out. So I'm still in both of my positions. So for me, the thing on Euro AUD would, because right, the most obvious thing would be to move my stop loss right here at this once, previous resistance. But I feel like price, pulling back over here and, staying choppy is also possible before we get that next movement. So the swing trader in me is trying to be patient and trying to, be a real swing trader. So instead of moving my stop loss right here, I've moved it to this, price action
Yeah.
that happened down here. And if we do get that retracement down here and it starts to get choppy again and we start to go higher, then from there, I'll move my stop loss here. But just staying patient with it. I've taken a little bit profit off the table. Stop losses at break even. So this is really my only winning trade right now. But we'll just have to see, how this one continues. But I think it's safe to say that this chart is officially bullish. So just gonna see, how much I can get off of it. So that's everything that I'm looking at, man. Are you able to share your screen with us?
Yeah, yeah. I like that because sometimes I think I've said it before. Like I move
Mm-hmm.
my stop loss a little bit aggressively,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and you sometimes you get stopped out because
Yeah.
like you move it up when it's in the middle of making that consolidation that you showed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh
and,
man,
and then like everybody has their stop loss naturally. This would
yeah.
be the place to like move your stop loss. So I feel like if it's too obvious, then maybe I should just wait a little bit. But yeah, that's my mindset on everything.
The one guy that I watch,
Mhm.
who's like the best trader I've been watching for the past couple years,
Yeah,
a year and a half. He does the same thing, right? He waits for that consolidation to happen, then to move
hmm
higher,
yeah,
and then he moves the stop loss up. So I like that. Like that's really good.
yeah,
And I do see on the GBP that does look good. That little back test right
yeah,
here, and lining up with the dollar. how do I say it? So like you know how the dollar is trying to set a 4 hour high or low? That's in terms
Hmm.
of just the trend, pure trend. You know, we're making like 4 hour downtrend, not huge follow through. Like you even mentioned too, like we're not getting huge impulse candles down because when the trend like back here,
Yeah.
like before 2024, we were getting 4 hour, we're getting lower highs and then pretty deep. Like the trend is extremely clear. The
Yeah.
bears are in control.
Yeah.
But now we're kind of seeing more like you know how like those falling wedge kind of patterns? Like the
Yes.
bear breaks are not they're lacking follow through.
Yeah.
So I definitely see like potential trend change here. Bulls want to set a higher low and then just kind of work higher, hopefully.
So
And
my thing with also what you said about that higher low,
yeah,
just because the way the market is looking right now, I personally would want to see a higher high soon. Just
yeah,
because for me, a higher low still looks a little bit more bearish than bullish, and I feel like a higher low could still be a case for the bear side rather than the bull side. But to see the Bulls at least take it up this high, before tomorrow is still good. So I feel like there's a case for the Bulls
I
and the
agree.
Bears with this higher low being formed. But yeah, that white line that you have at 104.412 is really just like which way we need to see the market officially break out of for anything to really just change.
I could also see the bear perspective because even that candle right there, it's like a
Hmm.
squeeze. You can kind
Hmm.
of see somebody was kind of like maybe
Yeah.
somebody was a little bit like I don't know over leveraged or whatever. Somebody's getting squeezed out. There's a
Hmm.
short
Yeah.
from here. They're getting squeezed out a little bit, and
Yeah.
then once they get squeezed out, market pulls back. So I agree. Like you really want to see that higher high,
Hmm.
and even on that white line is the weekly high. So you really want to see that taken out too. This weekly chart is still bullish from like a retracement perspective. That's the wrong one. It's still like what's it called? It's still a bull flag. I mean, it's above 30%,
Hmm.
so it looks really good. And even I was watching the Japanese yen. I just checked that out too. The Japanese yen, so USD JPY is
Yeah.
still so bullish. We're even pressing up on this like value area high, so like where majority of 70% of the volume occurred
Hmm.
in this area. So it would be nice to see. It's like last time we talked, like it's like multiple taps on the door.
Yeah.
Like you really just want to see like that break. So that looks bullish. That's
Yeah.
another one in favor. And I think that's what's contributing to the Euro AUD because in my mind, fundamentally, Australia right next to Japan, they're closer in terms of like their trade than with any other country. So I think the Japanese yen weakness is contributing to the Australian dollar weakness.
Mhm.
Compare that to the euro, that's helping. So it would be nice. I think if JPY breaks out, I think that would help Euro AUD.
So
We'll
that's
see.
that's it. Yeah. And then I've noticed that when the DXY is just from what I've noticed in like this last week or however long I've been trading Euro
Yeah.
AUD, when the dollar is like pushing up, I'm noticing Euro AUD. It's not like necessarily doing the same thing, but if when the dollar was pushing up, I noticed is when Euro AUD finally started to get that momentum. So
Hmm.
I'm not sure the correlation 100%, but that is something
Yeah.
I did notice for sure.
That is cool. You're right. Like I can see it right now. The when it was bearish, you can definitely see like it's like
Mhm.
a really
Yeah,
drag. And
yeah,
then right when it bottoms, that's exactly when Euro AUD bottoms.
yeah.
So
So
it's been like a really good headwind.
pretty interesting. Something I never noticed until like literally up until last week. But I didn't know that about the Japanese yen and the Australian dollar. I never really put that together.
Yeah, see USD JPY right here. That's the bottom.
Hmm.
And it happens almost. But I guess it's the same with almost all currencies because they're all against the dollar.
Yeah,
But
true.
it's interesting to see. And I
True.
like the that what's it called? That 4 hour lower high right here on the what's it called? The GBP. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, so it'd be
yeah.
cool to see that reject.
Hopefully we don't see another candle coming higher. At least hopefully for me.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but what are you trading? What did you trade this morning? Did you trade
So
anything this morning?
today, yeah, I took a very couple small trades on like the MES, like the S&P and the what's it called? NASDAQ.
Okay.
And what I look at essentially
Are
in the
these the
morning,
micros?
yeah, yeah. and it's really
And
good. Yeah,
how
yeah.
much does it cost per point to enter the micro?
So on the Nasdaq, it is every point that the Nasdaq moves,
Mhm.
your thing moves $2.
$2, $2. So
Yeah,
it costs $2
and
per point.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And it's similar to like how like pips and points. I
Hmm.
wonder if pips and points are the same. I have to look it up. They
So
might be.
so from what I know, they're exactly the same, just different like wordplay to use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually have
yeah,
to
yeah.
look it up. I think so. Essentially, so on the left side, Nasdaq, we opened up the volume compared to yesterday. We're opening up below yesterday's volume, essentially, where most of the volume was traded. We're
Yeah.
opening up below, and same with the S&P. So I just took a small short against that blue line right there,
Uh-huh.
and I kind of when it goes in my direction, I lower the stop loss a little bit.
Hmm.
Since my account is so low to the beginning, like I have the 50K account,
Hmm.
I'm kind of just taking little bits of profit here and there,
Yeah.
trying to hopefully get into a swing trade. But if the swing trade is not setting up, I
Yeah.
just kind of like lower the stop loss.
Mhm.
But
So
yeah,
so when the market opened up below yesterday's is what made you want to continue with selling it, basically.
yeah. And
Okay.
when we opened up, we were below the open at the time.
Hmm.
And let me see.
So let me ask, do you enter automatically when the market opens up if it's below, or do you wait for like a retracement? What was your mindset
Yeah, let me see
when
here.
entering?
It was the first trade was the MES right here. Let me see. Because it was actually this, I actually honestly forgot because the Bitcoin was like a bit of a distraction.
Yeah,
I was putting so much attention on that. So this one was
understood.
actually at 10:30.
Okay.
So when it was 10:30, I can pull up the whoops, I can pull up the ES chart here. Essentially, I'm just trading this at the open. And even though we're above the open, we had multiple passes over the open.
Hmm.
At the time I took this trade, we were making a higher high. So I
Hmm.
know, you know, it's in my mind, it's a little bit of a trap. How do I say that? Like, it was a while ago, honestly. I'm actually forgetting like exactly how I took the trade. Let me see. It's at 10:30 exactly, which is right here. It was Friday. It was the POC. So it was the highest volume of yesterday.
Hmm.
And it was right there. That's where I took it. It was just based on that purple line right there. So it was a really quick trade
When it
and
when
it
it
pulled back a
when it
little bit and
wicks.
I just stopped
Okay,
out.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
So you shorted it when it rejected that volume price essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know it's really messy when you look at it, but it's essentially right here.
Yeah.
So how do I say it? It's essentially this purple line right here,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is not a great trade to be honest. But I
Mhm.
also took a Bitcoin short. Um, right. Let's see. I was pretty much just doing, how do I say it? Like really small size. So I was just adding one. I just put one here, and I did try to add another one here. But for this one, I honestly, once it pulled back up, I stopped out like almost
Uh,
like break even. But on
So
that one, I made $50.
do you have a profit target that you go for? Do you have like amount of pips that you go for? Like what
Oh,
or is it just like I'll continue to move my stop loss until I get stopped out?
oh yeah, only moving the stop loss, but no
Okay.
profit target.
No profit target. Yeah,
Yeah,
because yeah.
unless if I get into a swing position, then I'll start to look for profit targets.
Hmm.
But most of the time, to be completely honest, I'm too aggressive with moving my stop loss. I usually get
Hmm.
stopped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that for sure. Do you have any like potential setups you're looking at? Are you waiting for anything to happen on like anything specific, or
Yeah.
are you just kind of on the sidelines right now?
I am yeah, I am on the sidelines, but
Hmm.
with the Nasdaq, I am essentially just waiting for a pullback. When you go on the hourly chart,
Yeah.
we are really going sideways. That's why like my trades have been really short. They haven't
Hmm.
been too aggressive. I haven't been really had the opportunity to get into a swing trade,
Yeah.
but from what I can see on the Nasdaq, we're just kind of ping-ponging in between. areas of supply, which are ahead of us or on top of
Mhm.
us, and areas of demand, which are below. And I think it's because I'm looking at my laptop. Usually I'm looking at my desktop, so I might be
Yeah.
like a little bit like, out of sync. But on the 4 hour chart, we're going sideways. We're spending a lot of time going sideways. So it's getting really choppy.
Yeah.
When you zoom out on the daily chart, there is potential for a bull flag right here. So we can see we're trying to like the bulls, they with that Nvidia earnings from Wednesday,
Mhm.
they pumped like 500 points up and they've been kind of cooling off a little bit. So there's
Yeah.
potential to have a bull flag if we break above the all-time highs.
Mhm.
But I'm also watching, like, I'm not going to be too aggressive with it. I think on the weekly chart, when you zoom out, how do I say this? Like, usually when we have these runs up,
Yeah.
there's always, after these big extensions, there's always, according to history, there's always a set 6 to 7% pullback.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, if you look at the S&P 500 on the daily chart, let's see, the daily chart, ever since the October low, the S&P has never had a daily downtrend. And you can see it on the SPY
Mhm.
chart. The S&P has never had a lower, like a clear lower high and lower low, essentially.
Yeah.
So what I'm
Yeah.
watching
So,
from here is essentially just I'm looking for a correction, essentially to buy.
yeah, yeah,
But
that makes sense. And I feel like shorting it, I feel like um that next support level is a like very obvious level that you could potentially like try to short it to. But I feel like there's so many
yeah,
passive resistance trying to short it that it could get tricky, and like most definitely the path to least resistance it is like would still be to the upside, like you said. There
oh yeah,
hasn't been any change in market structure. It's been impulsing, correcting, and then impulsing, right back. So yeah.
yeah. Especially when you said there hasn't been any change. Completely
Mhm.
agree that
Yeah.
this yellow line right here,
Mhm.
the guy that I watch, he calls it like a daily no change level.
Okay.
So as long as it's above the yellow line, there's no change for the buyers.
Yeah.
And you can see we've had like even today, you can tell the Bears get a little bit excited. Like we open up, we have that little drop in the morning. Even the overnight session, we had that drop. We break below that same yellow line, and you can see this is what I love about the index futures. You
Mm.
can see how reactive price is. We hold below it for like less than an hour,
Yeah.
and that's showing you like the sellers, like we broke below that previous high, we're just starting to create change and they have no follow through. Like they have no juice. So the buyers
Yeah.
just kind of like take it higher and now we're just hovering above it. So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah, as long as we're above that, there's no change for the sellers and or no change for the buyers. And especially that whole area of like demand,
Hmm.
essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how if we get any sort of momentum coming in tomorrow. But things looking just kind of flat now, at least for the day. I wonder if we'll have any more momentum,
yeah.
for the rest of the day. Pretty interesting. But that's pretty much everything I'm looking at, man. Maybe if you're free tomorrow, same thing. We can get back do the same thing.
Yeah,
You
that'd
know,
be cool. I'm gonna be busy tomorrow. I'm gonna be out all
okay,
day.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
But
Then
I'll show you a quick update of my account really quick.
okay,
I
yes,
can show
yes,
you.
yeah, please do.
Yeah, yeah. I got these two accounts going, which is nice.
Nice.
I just passed my challenge yesterday for the 50K, which is
Oh,
good.
nice, nice.
Yep.
Like, are you funded or phase one?
No, this is the funded one.
Nice, nice, dude.
Yep.
Nice,
So I
nice,
have
nice,
two right here.
nice.
I got a 50K. This one on top, I've had it for a month now.
Hmm.
It's 250 bucks in profit, and the one below,
Nice.
I just got 48 bucks trading Bitcoin.
Hmm.
The fees are crazy. I paid $15 to trade 5 trades of Bitcoin. But the
At
S&P
what?
and the Nasdaq, if you trade that, it's like 50 cents each.
Mhm.
It's just
At, at,
crazy.
at what? To enter the trade, you paid 15, or like to exit the trade?
So I did the math. I traded like 6 trades in total and it added up to 15 bucks. So each Bitcoin, micro Bitcoin,
Hmm.
which is the actual value of a Bitcoin is zero point 0.1 Bitcoin. So that's the actual value. it's $2.50. It's too
Mm.
much. Yeah.
Because
Because
just because of how
sometimes
volatile it is, right? That $2 will turn to something crazy real fast, huh?
I think it's just because there's not a lot of liquidity. Like not a lot of people trade Bitcoin with the micro Bitcoin on the like
Okay.
most of the people trading Bitcoin are just doing it on like Bybit,
Yeah.
Coinbase,
Yeah.
those websites.
Yeah.
But on the futures, they just make it expensive. I don't know why.
Interesting. Interesting.
But yeah,
Interesting.
things have been going good so far. I just got to keep it
Nice.
steady and small gains.
So now you have two 50K ones, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And you're doing 100K challenge, right?
No, honestly, the 100K one, I since I lost it, I'm not gonna try to do another one.
Okay. So
The
what I'm looking
Yeah.
at your screen right there, is that a because I see 100,000. So is
Oh,
that
sorry, that one they added on purpose. So this one's a simulation account.
okay?
So
Okay.
I can even remove that. Let me
So
see.
it's just like
This is
kind
the
of
only
like a
account that I have.
so it's kind of like a demo.
Yeah,
If you
yeah, yeah.
okay, cool, cool, cool,
So if you
cool.
want to do like they give you two options. They give you like one account and then they give you a separate account. So it's like if you want to trade and you want to practice your stuff,
Yeah,
they give you
nice,
like a simulation account
nice,
as like an
nice.
add-on.
Yeah, that's super nice, super nice, super nice.
Yeah.
Man, let me see how much time we have. There's something I wanted
Oh
to
yeah.
ask you real quick. Let me see. We have 6 minutes.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you. I wanted to, cause it's on the CND website or
The
whatever
which
the
one?
C, C,
The
CME.
Oh, CME one? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just because I've been looking into trading um currency futures.
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so when you go over here and you go to that FX link and you click, let's see, where was it at? So let's say I click on these euro futures right here, right? So this would be essentially euro USD, right?
Yeah, are you on the 6EH4 one?
Yes, six E
Yeah.
H 4 right? Okay, so when I go to specs,
Yeah.
is this how much it costs per pip to enter? $6.25.
Yeah, so each movement, because that's the thing. I need to look up what a pip really means,
Yeah,
but each 0.00005 movement
yeah.
in the euro
Hmm.
will be $6.
Okay, so basically 12 points. If it moved 12 points, it'd be 12 points times $6.25.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, okay,
And
that's
these ones are large because
that's
there's
expensive.
another one. Have you seen the M6E?
And no, is that the micro?
Yes, yeah. So that
Okay,
one's a lot better.
okay, so that's okay. See, that's where I get a little bit confused because it's like, how do I find the micro futures? Because I see
Okay.
okay, but options and futures are something else as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
that one right there is a bit
On the
concerning.
top right,
Hmm.
there's a like the search one.
Okay, I see. Yes,
Yeah, and you can just type in M6E.
M6E,
Yeah.
M6E. Let's see what it
And they don't
brings.
show you I just hit enter and then I click on the first one.
There we go. Micro,
Yeah, so
micro
this one's
USD.
1/10 of the size. So it's a lot better.
Ah, okay.
And it's actually when you look at the minimum
Ah,
price fluctuation, it's because there's too many zeros in that other one. The other
mm,
one is like there's like five zeros, but this one's only
yeah.
three.
So
It's a
this
lot
one,
better.
so this one would be $1.25 per pip.
Yeah.
But do you know if the chart would look the same, like essentially, or would they be different?
So the chart is identical,
Hmm.
and the only difference is that the how do I say it? The exchange rate is a different number, but it
Okay,
moves the exact same.
but the
If that
exchange
makes
rate
sense.
is just a
Yeah.
different. Okay, that makes sense. That does make a lot of sense for sure. Thank you, man. I most definitely appreciate it.
But yeah.
I've been looking into Top Step and like forgot what the other one is, but I know you have to pay like $50 a month, which is not bad. Just because you can
Yeah.
kind of trade up. They have like a platform, and that platform is directly like linked with TradingView.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's I feel like it would make it feels a lot more professional, like being able to trade right off TradingView. So whenever I do pass this 10K count, man, I think I might move some money into trying out the futures. But man, $6.25 per pip is expensive. So I see
Yeah.
why they say you gotta have a nice little balance to do the futures for sure, most definitely.
But the
But
other one is much better if you do the micro ones because you can
yeah,
just 10 micros equals one of the bigger ones.
yeah,
I will
yeah.
just say the one for trading view, you have to use what's it called? Tradeovate because they give you two options. You can do
Mhm,
rhythmic or you can do Tradeovate.
mhm,
The $50 a month is not bad because I mean it depends on how much it's gonna take. But
mhm.
with the 50K account, you have a lot of room. And the one I'll say too is when you pass, you also have to pay 100, I'll just say $150 fee when you pass.
Okay, I
It's
remember
also
you
that.
telling me something like, what's that fee for again?
So they call it like an activation fee,
Okay.
and it's just they're just grabbing money out of you. That's what I think all it is. It's just a cash grab.
Hey,
Because
man,
I don't know what other reason there would be. But yeah.
gotta play, gotta pay to play, man. So yeah,
Yep.
I guess, but it I do just appreciate the legitimacy. So man, I'm looking
Yes.
at my FTMO account, man. It's crazy. If I didn't lose all this money, I would have been funded
Ye-
right now, man. Because I'm
Oh,
literally
that
up
is
400
crazy.
bucks, right? But haha to
Wow.
me though, I guess, man. But if these trades can continue, just because I'm pretty up on Euro AUD, but the other ones still have a lot of room to go. So who knows, man? Maybe I'll be funded by the end of this week, man. If we
Yeah.
could get some movement,
Because
but
that move happened fairly quickly and
yeah, for
it's
you,
looking bullish structurally. So
yeah,
make
for
another leg
sure.
up.
Yep.
That's
But
good. That's good to see. Yeah.
yeah, man, we'll see how it goes, most definitely. But I know you said you're busy tomorrow, man. Maybe Friday or get back
Yes. I'm free
together.
Friday.
Yeah,
Friday
okay, then
morning I
yeah,
am. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so then maybe on Friday a little bit earlier, we could get back, see how these markets, what they've done in the last 48 hours and things like that. But
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for taking the time to speak with me.
Sure.
And
Same here. Yeah.
appreciate to anybody who is liking, commenting, and subscribing as well, man. So I'll see you soon, my brother.
All right. All right. Take care.
All right, man. Yes, sir.